So we'll continue with ICDR regulation, and today we'll do part 5, right? Uh, just to give you a brief idea, what we are going to do today is not very relevant for your exam. Relevant in the sense you will not get a question, or you may not get a question. I'm not saying you'll definitely not, but chances are very less that you'll get a question from the regulations which we are going to cover today. Probably towards the end, the important provisions would come, but again this is going to be very important as far as your issue process is concerned. So today we will also make a chart what is going to be the issue process. So this will definitely help you in your due diligence paper, right? Because when the appointment of lead manager is going to happen, so what is going to be the role of this lead manager, we'll discuss all these things. So that in the sense can be very important for your due diligence paper. Corporate funding, since this is part of it, we are not going to miss out on any particular regulation, irrespective whether it's important for exam or not. We'll cover all. However, of course, I know that ultimately your preparation should be for your exam also. So in that case, I'll tell you which all regulations are important and which are not. Like last lecture, it was very important. Like these questions, they straight away ask you in the exam. What is the lock-in period? What are the promoter contribution, minimum promoter contribution, and all those things. Today's question, the regulations which we are going to cover, these regulations are not such that you will get straight away question, right? Who is going to be the lead manager, how it is appointed. So those are very basic things that you have already studied in your executive also, but we'll cover this. And towards the end, I'll try to add in this particular topic also, I'll try to add some more value addition, something new which you have not covered in your executive, especially with respect to the SEBI or the SAT orders. So I have a SAT order in front of me, right? We'll cover that SAT order because this SAT order was particularly from this chart, from this particular part of ICDR, with respect to the lead managers, right? So let's go ahead. And the first thing is that the issuer shall appoint one or more merchant banker which are registered with the board as lead manager. So here the merchant banker is going to be the lead manager. There can be more than one merchant banker, but otherwise if you see, you'll find one merchant banker minimum in terms of big issue. And practically also, if you see, you will come across multiple merchant bankers. Like I can show you one DRHP. The, like I say, it's not even DRHP, it's the RHP only. So just see this. This is Barbecue Nation, right? So in this Barbecue Nation, you'll get this. So just see, these are the merchant bankers. IIFL Securities, Access Capital, and Ambit and SBI Capital. And then you also have registrar to the offer. So we'll find these two. Okay. Today, probably you can start reading this. Not today, but I'll tell you certain areas of the prospectus which you can read and you'll be able to correlate a lot. So that's what I was saying, that company needs to appoint a lead manager. Now this lead manager is also defined in the ICDR regulation, and it means that lead manager is a merchant banker which is registered with the board and is appointed by the issuer. Okay. So point number one, lead manager is a merchant banker, of course registered with the board. Point number two, lead manager is appointed by the issuer. Now why lead manager is being appointed? To manage the issue, right? And in case of book built issue, the lead manager or managers, they are appointed by the issuer. They shall act as the book running lead manager. So you'll come across this term BRLM. So BRLM means it's the same merchant banker, right? In case of a book built issue would be BRLM, and in case of a fixed price issue would be just the lead manager. Now why book runner? Because in case of book building, the bids one all would be invited. So that's a book runner lead manager, and otherwise it's only the lead manager. Okay. So just remember this part. Just remember this, that it's the merchant banker. Whenever it's a book built issue, the merchant banker would be the BRLM, and whenever it's a fixed price issue, the merchant banker would be the lead manager. Then, where the issuer is managed by more than one lead manager, then they need to designate that who is responsible for what. So, where the issue is managed by more than one lead manager, the rights, obligation, and the responsibilities relating to inter alia, that is, amongst them within to the disclosures, allotment, refund, and underwriting obligation, if any, of the each lead manager shall be predetermined, and it has to be disclosed in the draft offer document and in the offer document. Just ignore the schedule 1 and all that, probably towards the end you can check. Otherwise, like I say, go and refer the live DRHP, you will find everything there. So don't just look at the formats. There you will get the format also, and also the right content. So all these would be clearly defined. Now I'll give you this assignment. Just read this. Just go through this offer document. Okay. And in this, find out what is the role of IIFL, what is the role of Excess Capital, what is the role of Ambit, and what is the role of SBI Capital. Because they have mentioned, it is going to be clearly mentioned in the offer document. So just go and check. This is the index. Try to like, and the best part about this index is, like today or maybe in the next lecture, we'll hit this part, pricing and all. Right. The moment you click on this basis of pricing, you get the pricing and all. So similarly, when you hit this index, you click on this, try to look and find out what all things are there, like general information summary. Just find out what all things you find it here, and do you get this information or not, right? Reason being, this exercise is going to help you to, I'm telling you, it will remember these professions for a longer period of time, and you'll not have to do that ratification and all. And if in case that question comes in the exam also, you'll not freak out because you know something, and that just you have to write in the exam. Then, at least one lead manager of the issuer shall not be associate. So this is again with respect to the merchant banker regulation, where they have said that there should be independence. The merchant banker should not be the associate, right? So if there are multiple lead managers, then at least one should be independent. Others can be associate, but one should be the independent. Then the role of that associate merchant banker should be again limited to the marketing of the issue. Now, what is marketing of the issue? Now, if you see, uh, Zomato's public issue is coming, right? They have filed, already filed their DRHP and all those things, and their pricing and all is open. Now you see, next, which is the company which is in the pipeline? Which is the next company which is in pipeline? आजकल किसके बारे में और ज़्यादा सुन रहे हो कि एक और जोमेटो जैसी कंपनी पब्लिक इशू लेकर आना चाहती है? पेटीएम. ओके, you'll find पेटीएम का आपको काफ़ी ज़्यादा न्यूज़ मिलेगा. हाँ, करेक्ट मुस्कान. सो पेटीएम के ऊपर आएगा. सो ये जो मार्केटिंग एक्टिविटीज़ है ना, इस मार्केटिंग एक्टिविटीज़ को बोलते हैं रोड शो. ओके, ध्यान रखना, रोड शो का ये मतलब नहीं होता कि वो रोड पे जाके कॉन्सर्ट प्रोग्राम करेंगे, राइट? रोड शो का ये भी नहीं है कि आप जैसे मूवीज और का मार्केटिंग होता है वैसा. रोड शो के अंदर these merchant bankers, they are going to meet the prospective investors. Okay, the QIBs, right? Basically QIB is a big term, so they go and meet the QIBs, qualified institutional buyers. म्यूचुअल फंड से जाके मिलेंगे, उनके फंड मैनेजर से मीटिंग करेंगे. एंड वाई डू दे मीट ऑल दीज थिंग्स? बिकॉज इशू अगर सक्सेसफुल करना है तो उसमें बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रोल होगा of the anchor investors, which is again we are going to discuss when we do the basis of allotment. So maybe next to next lecture we'll be studying about the basis of allotment. So there we'll discuss about the anchor investor, but just understand these QIBs, they play a very very important role. Same way, check for Zomato also. Everyone is like, you'll find two different set of people. One who is saying that Zomato is correct, the valuations and all are correct, and one party would say that it's insane that Zomato is coming up with this kind of a public issue. They have not made any profit and all, and insane valuation. There is no logic for this valuation and all. So to boost the confidence of people was the anchor investors. So when these anchor investors they subscribe, automatically the retail investors they feel confident about it, that if these sophisticated investors they have invested in the public issue, तो definitely कुछ ना कुछ कंपनी में अच्छा होगा. सो ये जो रोड शोज होते हैं ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. सो ऐसा नहीं होता कि पब्लिक इशू हुआ और अचानक से सबको पता चलता है अच्छा आपकी कंपनी का पब्लिक इशू है, सो लेट्स इन्वेस्ट इन दिस कंपनी. ऐसा नहीं होता. सो क्वालिफाइड इंस्टीट्यूशनल बायर्स रिटेल से नहीं करते डिस्कस, बट क्वालिफाइड इंस्टीट्यूशनल बायर से आपका मीटिंग होता है, एंड ये रोल मर्चेंट बैंकर का होता है. सो हियर दे आर सेइंग दैट इफ it's for the roadshow marketing activity, there is no problem. This merchant banker can be your associate. But for the due diligence purpose, you need to have a independent person, right? Then the issuer shall, in consultation with the lead manager, appoint other intermediaries also. So who is going to be the first one to get appointed? It's the lead manager who is going to get appointed. After the lead manager is appointed, then along with that the other intermediaries will be appointed, and all these intermediaries they have different role. And who are these other intermediaries? You'll find, let's say, in the other intermediaries you'll find the registrar and share transfer agent, RTA. Then you'll also find the depository participant. Then you'll also find underwriters, syndicate bank, right? So all these people are will be, are to be appointed after the appointment of the merchant banker. And then the issuer, I've skipped few of the regulations. Like I mentioned, it is not very relevant for your exam perspective, so I've picked up only the relevant sub regulations. Okay, so the issuer shall appoint the registrar to the issue registered with the board, which has connectivity with all the depositories. Now the issuer will also appoint a compliance officer, right? And this compliance officer would be responsible for monitoring the compliance of the securities law and also for the redressal of the investor grievance. So in case you get a question, what is the role of compliance officer in the public issue and all, so you need to mention this. This question can be asked because mostly the compliance officer is a company secretary only. So just check if this question is being asked. So if you see the prospectus here of Barbecue Nation, again you'll get the name of the compliance officer here. I'll show you. Hmm, just a minute. No, not in general issue. Just 1 minute. You'll definitely get. See, the compliance officer name is being given here, right? Our management profile. So this is the name of the compliance officer, and then if there is any issue, you can get it. And just see, BRLM. You got it? IIFL, Excess Capital, and then you have, see, syndicate members, right? Legal counsels are being appointed. So these are the Indian legal councils. There can be legal councils who are from not from India, they are from outside. And special purpose international legal council. So you have then auditors, registrar to the offer, bankers, correct? And for escrow collection, bankers to the company that has been given. Then just see self-certified syndicate banks. So these are appointed, right? Registered brokers, RTA, depository participants. So everything is being given here. And also with respect to the expert, so monitoring agencies and all. So these all intermediaries would be appointed after the appointment of the merchant banker. Okay, so this part is done. Now also the issuer will enter into an agreement with the lead manager, right? And also will enter into an agreement with the other intermediary. So entering into agreement is must because it is provided in the regulation itself. Then in case of book built issue, so like I mentioned, the company will also have to appoint the syndicate members, right? And in case of any other issue, appoint banker to the issue. Now why syndicate members? Because the bid collections and all will be done by the syndicate members, and banker to the issue would be straight away where your uh, check or the amount goes to the banker to the issue. Now, this is the overall process. So this is not a chart which is made by me. This is chart which is made by some other person. But I have a extract of this, and this will give you a good idea. इससे आपको एक पूरा ओवरऑल पूरा प्रोसेस मिलेगा, जिसमें आप देखो कंपनी, कंपनी के बाद क्या होगा, अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ द BRLM. BRLM is that your book running लीड मैनेजर, मर्चेंट बैंकर. उसके बाद मर्चेंट बैंकर करेगा ड्यू डिलिजेंस. ड्यू डिलिजेंस करने के बाद में दिस ड्राफ्टिंग और फाइलिंग ऑफ द ड्राफ्ट रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस. उसके बाद आपको सेबी से कमेंट्स मिलेंगे. कमेंट्स मिलने के बाद ये देखो, ये जो मैंने आपको बताया था रोड शोज, ये रोड शोज होगा, प्री मार्केटिंग एक्टिविटी होगा, एंड देन आपका इशू ओपन होगा. इसी को अगर मैं थोड़ा सा और आपको डिटेल्ड में बताऊं तो आई कवर इट टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द लेक्चर. जस्ट रिमाइंड मी इन केस आई फॉरगेट. इसका एक मैं आपको डिटेल्ड फ्लो चार्ट बना के दूंगा, एंड will keep on updating that flowchart as and when we proceed with the ICDR regulations for IPO. और वहाँ पर आपको एक पूरा clarity आ जाएगा. So in case you get a question, what is going to be the steps of the public issue, it will be very easy for you to at least write down the points. Anyway, this was only the one regulation, one part. Now just see, you have disclosures and filing of the offer document. Now tell me, what is the definition of offer document? Is it defined? Answer is yes. The offer document and the draft offer document both are defined. So offer document means the red herring prospectus or the prospectus or the shelf prospectus as referred to in the Companies Act 2013. And in case of public issue, in case this is in case of public issue, and the letter of offer in case of the right issue. So when we will study about right issue, that time offer document would be that letter of offer, and draft letter of offer would be the draft red herring prospectus or the draft prospectus. Now shelf prospectus, again draft shelf prospectus. So this is the offer document. अब हम यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं what all disclosures would be there and filing of the offer document. Now tell me one thing, why offer document is important? What is the role of offer document? What is the role of offer document? And why I'm discussing this? Because there are judgments with respect to this, that what is the role of offer document. There is a SAT order which justifies that why offer document is relevant, and that particular SAT order defines not just the need of offer document that is to be filed to SEBI, but also the role of the company, the role of the merchant banker. So the case name is either e-commerce versus SEBI, and this is the SAT order of 2018. So maybe you can download it from the SAT site, or I'll put it in the fine print SAT order folder. Okay. So in this, SEBI actually mentioned that, uh, the SEBI Act, remember the CCI regime I was discussing about, कि CCI regime के अंदर कंपनी को बताया जाता था कि आप लिस्ट कर सकते हो, आप लिस्ट नहीं कर सकते हो. Here it is not like that. Here it says that the SEBI Act is not empowering SEBI to prevent directly from accessing the capital market. Here the decision and everything is left on the company, and is also left on the investors basically who are going to subscribe for the securities of the company. So same way, this is Zomato का भी public issue आया है. So there are critics about it, and there are who are people who are in favor of it. It is absolutely fine. SEBI says that I am no one to say that this particular company should get listed or this company should not get listed. SEBI Act does not empower me to do that. But what I can do is I can make sure that what all disclosures are needed. So like I said, the decision is completely based on the company and on the investors. So if the investors are happy and they are ready to put in the money, there is absolutely no problem. So similar thing, जब भी जोमेटो के लिए कोई बोलता है कि उसमें इस तरह का इंसेन वैल्यूएशंस है, ऐसा है वैसा है, so every, one of the strong argument to shut this is basically the investors are ready to put in the money. So if investors are ready, it's their money. You are no one to say whether the company is overvalued or such company should not come for the valuation or whatsoever manner is. So ये पॉइंट वहां पे आ रहा है, ये जो इन्वेस्टर्स को डिसीजन लेना होगा या ये जो इश्यूअर कंपनी को डिसीजंस लेना होगा, these decisions are going to be taken on the disclosures which will be given by the company. Now here the role of SEBI comes into the picture, that when you file this offer document to the SEBI, at that point of time SEBI is going to check. It is basically prescribed that these are the disclosure requirements which the company, issuer company, has to fulfill. Otherwise, what is going to happen? Company will disclose only those material information which is relevant for making a buy call, right? Which will not be relevant to say, if I don't want to invest or if I get to know about this particular information, I would not invest in the company. The issuer company would try to conceal this information. वो नहीं चाहेगा कि ये information public के पास आए. इसके लिए ये जो offer document है, this offer document would be filed to the SEBI, and once this offer document is filed to the SEBI, SEBI is going to check, okay, and it is going to it has basically prescribed the disclosure requirement. SEBI is going to check all those disclosure requirements whether this has fulfilled or not. One of the argument comes that when the DRHP is being filed with SEBI, okay, and this DRHP, once the SEBI issues comments and all, then this DRHP becomes RHP, which actually goes to the public. Now, does SEBI authenticates the information or the content which is given in the red herring prospectus? कल को अगर कंपनी का पब्लिक इशू कुछ भी गड़बड़ होता है, can you go and file a case against SEBI that you had reviewed the draft red herring prospectus was with you, and you reviewed this draft red herring prospectus and you filed a red herring prospectus? So can you do so? Can you do so? Same way आप देखो, टेक ओवर रेगुलेशंस के अंदर you have the draft letter of offer which is filed to the SEBI, and then later on you have the letter of offer. So tomorrow if you get to know there was some wrong information which was given in the letter of offer, can you go and file SEBI a case against SEBI? Can you go and file a case against SEBI?
Yes, sir.
But on what grounds? Like in Companies Act, you have civil liability, criminal liability, class action suit. सेबी को कौन से एक्ट में और कौन से प्रोविजन में केस फाइल करोगे आप? है कोई ऑप्शन? आंसर इज नो, यू कैन नॉट फाइल. अब इसका रीजन है जिनित, इसका सिंपल सा रीजन क्या है? जब आप ड्राफ्ट रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस या ड्राफ्ट लेटर ऑफ ऑफर सेबी को फाइल करते हो और सेबी अपने ऑब्जर्वेशन और कमेंट्स को इशू करता है, सेबी ऑथेंटिकेट नहीं कर रहा है इन इंफॉर्मेशन को. सेबी बस खाली क्या चेक कर रहा है, दैट हैव यू मेड all the disclosures which are needed or not. If the disclosures are made, SEBI is okay with that. However, if later on SEBI comes to know that these disclosures were not correct or these disclosures were fraudulent, then the civil and the criminal liability will follow on to the company and to the directors and also to the promoters and to the basically officer in default. All those things are going to happen, but you cannot go and file a complaint against SEBI, or you cannot have a writ petition against SEBI that SEBI has not done his work, its work. आप बताओ, ये पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ गाइस? ये पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ?
Yes, sir.
Do read this judgment, okay? I don't know whether you'll get this judgment in your मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी केस स्टडी, वहां पर ये लिंक करेगा कि नहीं करेगा, बट डेफिनेटली डू रीड दिस जजमेंट. इस जजमेंट के अंदर आपको पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे, और ये सब इन जजमेंट के अंदर से मैं एक्सट्रैक्ट आपको बता रहा हूँ दैट सेबीज रोल इज टू चेक whether the issuer company has done all these disclosures or not. If these companies have done all these disclosures, then their SEBI would say it's absolutely fine. Now then, ultimately, who is going to be responsible for the disclosures in it? One is definitely the company and the directors and the promoters of the company. Secondly, it's the merchant banker. सेकेंडली इट्स द मर्चेंट बैंकर. सेबी के ऊपर तो कोई जुरिस्डिक्शन नहीं होगा, मर्चेंट बैंकर के ऊपर काफी हद तक जुरिस्डिक्शन रहेगा. आपसे मर्चेंट बैंकर के अगेंस्ट आप केस फाइल कर सकते हो, बट still there will be some sort of defense which will be available with the merchant banker, but company cannot. The officer in default will have absolutely no defense against it. So the filing of offer document, it is mandatory for this particular reason. And who is going to ensure that the offer document contains and all the correct information and all the relevant disclosures are made? It is the responsibility, collective responsibility of the company and the lead manager. आप बताइए, इज दिस क्लियर? इज दिस क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
राइट. तो ये जजमेंट को डेफिनेटली आप लोग पढ़ना. फिर देखो यहाँ पे इधर बताया हुआ दैट द ड्राफ्ट ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट एंड द ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट शैल कंटेन ऑल मटेरियल disclosure which are true and adequate to enable the applicants to take an informed investment decision. So this is the need why the offer document should be made public, right? And why the offer document is to be issued, so that these investors, the applicants, can take an informed decision. And in the offer document they should have all the material disclosures which should be true, okay, and it should be adequate. Now what are material disclosures which is given here? That in case of red herring prospectus and in the prospectus, so two sections are there. One is the Companies Act. So in the Companies Act you have section 26, okay, which says that what all contents should be disclosed. And then you have the disclosures which are specified in part A of schedule 6, जो कि आपको बताएगा यहाँ पे कि पब्लिक इशू के अंदर what all disclosures are needed. So ideally ये जो हमने यहाँ पे देखा है, ये बारबेक्यू नेशन का जो हम यहाँ पे ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट देख रहे हैं, और इस ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट के अंदर जो भी पॉइंट्स आपको दिया हुआ है, these all are the informations, like every single point whichever is mentioned here. Why it is mentioned? Because somewhere it is the ICDR regulation which requires these company to give all these disclosures. Otherwise इसमें से कोई भी disclosure आप नहीं दोगे. So whatever disclosure is to be done, it will be done as per the part A of schedule 6. Then I think ये दोबारा से आ गया. The lead manager shall exercise the due diligence. Now what is due diligence? What is due diligence? यहाँ पे जो बताया हुआ है, द लीड मैनेजर शेल एक्सरसाइज ड्यू डिलिजेंस. मैंने आपको बताया दैट लीड मैनेजर का ड्यू डिलिजेंस, आई जस्ट मेंशन दैट द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वुड बी collectively of the company as well as of the merchant banker. Now I'm asking you, the regulations say that the lead manager shall exercise the due diligence and also satisfy themselves about all aspects of the issue, including the veracity and the adequacy of the disclosure in the draft offer document and in the offer document. Now my first question to you all is, what is due diligence? You have a subject also, due diligence. What is due diligence? What is due diligence?
So it's a kind of in detail search report.
It's in detail search report, okay. How different it is from audit? How different it is from the audit? How different it is from the audit report? Or it is same?
Sir, not much difference.
Not much difference. Okay. What else? आप ड्यू डिलिजेंस में क्या करते हो? Have you all studied due diligence? Have you all studied due diligence? ये सब्जेक्ट अगर आपने पढ़ा है, नो. ओके, मुस्कान इज सेइंग नो. ओके, देखो, ड्यू डिलिजेंस is basically it's an activity which is done before you take any decision. Okay, audit is basically the difference between audit and due diligence is audit is mostly done after the transaction has been done. So during the financial year you did all the transactions और उसके बाद में आप audit करते हो. Due diligence का जब बात होता है, in that case आप transactions होने से पहले, so if let's say I am going to acquire one company, or let's say in this case a company is going to come up with a public issue, in that scenario you need to have a due diligence before. And why this due diligence is done? So that you can authenticate. So even in audit you authenticate. So here also your objective is going to be to authenticate the factual information which has been given, and to check whether these informations are correct or not, whether there is uh, I won't say fraud or any mischief, because in due diligence there is no presumption that there is a fraud or there is a, some misstatements are actually there. In case of audit, the auditor has to be vigilant throughout the audit. Okay, he has to be maintain professional skepticism. Now, what is professional skepticism? वो alert mind, questioning mind होना चाहिए. ये ऐसा क्यों है, वो वैसा क्यों है. He has to do that. In due diligence, you don't have to be skeptical. आपको प्रिजम्पशन नहीं करना है कि यहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है ही, या इधर मिस स्टेटमेंट्स हो गई. यहाँ पर आप क्या कर रहे हो? यू इंश्योर, first you ensure that all the facts are authenticate and they are correct, and secondly you also ensure that you have the compilation of all the facts. आपके पास सारे के सारे facts available है with respect to the particular transaction जो आप वहां पे कर रहे हो. ये दो के basis पे you try to take a decision. So when you talk about due diligence, one, due diligence is definitely not the investigation which is done by a independent agency or any person, and it is definitely not a audit also. But certain reasonable diligence is again expected from the merchant banker, right? Merchant banker is again not expected to uh, basically do the due diligence with this presumption, like I mentioned, that there is a fraud or there is a mischief with the company that that is coming up with the public issue. ऐसा नहीं होगा. It starts with the note that uh, merchant banker will, uh, I would say, there is a some sort of a relationship of a trust and confidence between the two, both the merchant banker as well as the issuer company. उन दोनों के बीच में एक ट्रस्ट, रिलेशनशिप ऑफ ट्रस्ट एंड कॉन्फिडेंस वहां पर रहेगा. और this is basically an unsaid relationship of trust and confidence, where they say that both the companies or both the side of the parties, the issuer company as well as the merchant banker, वो यहाँ पे जो भी फैक्ट्स वगैरह है किसी चीज को इसको ब्रीच नहीं करेंगे, एक दूसरे को यहाँ पर वो झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे. जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन होगा दैट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. नाउ सर, वेयर इट इज ऑल रिटन? इट्स ऑल रिटन इन द SAT order. Like I mentioned, I'll pick up the SAT orders, and from there I can give you everything. So this SAT order is Almonds Global Security Limited versus SEBI, and this is a SAT order of 2016. और यहाँ पे SAT ने क्लियरली बताया that what is the role of the merchant banker with respect to the due diligence. यहाँ पे और भी 2-3 पॉइंट्स को इन्होंने डिस्कस किया था. SAT said that it is the primary responsibility of the company. So just see here, the primary responsibility is with the company with respect to the disclosures. The primary responsibility is of the company. And then you have the merchant banker who is going to ensure that the disclosures and all which has been done, that is correct. Now how he is going to ensure that? He is going to be diligent while drafting the documents and while filing all the documents. So he need not be, the merchant banker is not expected to be, देखो diligent का क्या मतलब होता है? Being alert, right? बिल्कुल ऐसे आंख बंद करके नहीं. So it's not that कंपनी ने आपको बोला that ये हमारे फाइनेंशियल्स है, आपने ये फाइनेंशियल्स को लिया और एज इट इज उसको DRHP में आपने लिखा और आपने उसको सेबी को फाइल कर दिया. दैट इज नॉट डन. ड्यू डिलिजेंस में यहाँ पर ये रहता है कि अगर कोई इंफॉर्मेशन आपके पास आ रहा है तो एटलीस्ट एक बार बीइंग अलर्ट, you have to be alert, you have to check whether these informations are correct or not. Not in the way you do audit, also not in the way you do investigation, but you have to be alert with respect to the authenticity of the facts and all, कि ये जो कंपनी ने आपको इंफॉर्मेशन वगैरह दिया है क्या ये करेक्ट है या नहीं. बिकॉज सेबी रिलाइज ऑन द मर्चेंट बैंकर, दैट इज द रीजन. आप अगर देखो कंपनी डायरेक्टली भी तो फाइल कर सकता है ना, बिकॉज अगर मर्चेंट बैंकर स्ट्रेट अवे कंपनी से इंफॉर्मेशन लेके सेबी को दे दे तो मर्चेंट बैंकर का रोल ही क्या रहा. You don't need a merchant banker also. Company can directly file that. Maybe the compliance officer can also do the direct filing. So if it is routed through the merchant banker, here the due diligence would be expected from the merchant banker, where merchant banker is not going to basically do the audit or do the investigation. See, I'm repeating this again and again because ये कहीं ना कहीं आपको question मिल जाएगा ड्यू डिलिजेंस के ऊपर. ड्यू डिलिजेंस बाय द मर्चेंट बैंकर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द पब्लिक इशू. तो आपको यहाँ पर क्लियरली यही लिखना होगा that the merchant banker is not the auditor, he is neither the auditor nor the investigating agency. He is expected to maintain certain level of diligence while he is drafting, preparing the company for the public issue and also filing those documents to the SEBI. His responsibility, it starts from the day when the draft red herring prospectus is filed to the SEBI टिल द टाइम द अलॉटमेंट इज नॉट डन. मतलब ये जो फंड्स हैं ये कंपनी को एस्क्रो अकाउंट से कंपनी के अकाउंट में जब तक ट्रांसफर नहीं होते तब तक उसका ये पूरा रोल रहता है. सो दैट इज द रोल. सो यूल फाइंड ऑल दीज इंफॉर्मेशन जो भी मैंने आप लोगों के साथ अभी डिस्कस किया इन दिस एलिमेंट्स ग्लोबल सिक्योरिटी वर्सेस सेबी. इसके सैट ऑर्डर के अंदर आपको डेफिनेटली इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगा. इसके अलावा एक और पॉइंट था दैट कंफर्ट लेटर कई बार होता है. नाउ व्हाट इज कंफर्ट लेटर? अगर आपको याद हो ऑडिट के अंदर in your executive in audit you must have read about this particular concept, how do I say, management representation letter, MRL. ये आपने पढ़ा था. And if you remember, MRL is also not a substitute for the audit evidence. Like the MRL cannot say, the auditor cannot say I have received MRL so I have sufficient and adequate audit evidence that can support the other evidences which you have received, but it cannot solely be called as the audit evidence. Similarly, the comfort letter which has been received cannot be वन एक्सक्यूज दैट ड्यू डिलिजेंस आपने नहीं किया. क्यों बोला? क्योंकि आपको कंफर्ट लेटर मिल गया था, यहाँ पे मैनेजमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन लेटर मिल गया था, या लेट्स से ऑडिटर से आपको एक कंफर्ट लेटर मिल गया था. सो दैट कैन नॉट बी टेकन एज अ एक्सक्यूज फॉर नॉट इन बीइंग डिलिजेंट while this process was going on. आप बताइए, is this clear guys? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
राइट. तो ड्यू
Yes,
डिलिजेंस
sir.
के ऊपर मैंने आपको पूरा पॉइंट बताया. दिस जजमेंट आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू, दिस इज वेरी वेरी गुड. सो जस्ट इन केस आगे सिक्योरिटीज लॉ के अंदर अगर आप जाओगे किसी फर्म के अंदर या मे बी इन अ लॉ फर्म और इन अ मर्चेंट विद अ मर्चेंट बैंकर, देन दीज पॉइंट्स आर गोइंग टू बी वेरी वेरी क्रूशल. ओके. एनीवे, नेक्स्ट अगर आप देखो, the lead manager shall ensure that the information contained in the draft offer document and in the offer document and the particulars as per the restated audited financial statement and in the offer document are not more than 6 months old from the date of opening of the issue. So the old data cannot be taken in 6 months. So आपका जो audited financial statement, just remember this is audited financial statement. So audited financial statements within 6 months there is no problem. So इसके बाद अगर होगा तो again you need a fresh audit. This can be one of the, I would say, a 3 mark 4 mark case study that the financial statements were audited on 31st March and then the same documents were used when the public issue came in the month of December. So again, not allowed. तो ये एक पॉइंट इसके ऊपर आप देख लेना. Then the filing of the draft offer document and the offer document. So prior to making of the initial public offer, the issuer files 3 copies and the draft offer document with the concerned regional office of the board of under the jurisdiction of which the registered office of the issuer is located. Now, SEBI का अगर आप structuring देखो, सेबी का हेड ऑफिस कहाँ है? मुंबई. करेक्ट. सेबी हेड ऑफिस इज मुंबई. इसके अलावा इसके 4 रीजनल ऑफिसेस हैं. कौन से वो रीजनल ऑफिसेस? कहाँ पर है रीजनल ऑफिसेस? नॉर्थ ईस्ट वेस्ट साउथ. नॉर्थ इट्स न्यू दिल्ली. ओके, मुस्कान ने बोला दिल्ली, चेन्नई, कोलकाता एंड मुंबई. सो एवरीथिंग इज करेक्ट एक्सेप्ट वन. कोलकाता. अहमदाबाद. ओके. सो ये 4 इनके रीजनल ऑफिसेस हैं. उसके अलावा यहाँ पे अलग अलग लोकेशंस पे रहेगा. लेट्स से यू विल फाइंड इट इन चंडीगढ़. So there will be different then branch offices and all would be there, but this is the structure of SEBI. Now this will be filed to the SEBI's office, which has the jurisdiction where the registered office of the company is located. Okay. Now fees and all you don't have to remember. All these things are fine in accordance with this and this. It is all fine. Now how do you file the draft or any filings if all you have to do? How do you do that? You do it on the SI portal, right? All this is done online. Just go and check. Rather, I would say under ICDR or LODR, takeover regulation, buyback regulation, all these things, if you have to pay any penalty, everything that you have to do, you will do it through the SI portal only. Okay. SEBI intermediary portal. So SI portal dot SEBI .gov.in. ओके. सो ये सब आपका ऑनलाइन फाइलिंग यहाँ पे हो जाता है. देन इफ यू सी द लीड मैनेजर शेल सबमिट द फॉलोइंग टू द बोर्ड along with the draft of a document, the agreement between the issuer company and the lead manager. This will also be filed. A due diligence certificate would be given, and in case of convertible debt instruments, a due diligence certificate will be received from the trustee. Now why this is needed? Why this is needed? ये वाला ड्यू डिलिजेंस रिपोर्ट क्यों चाहिए आपको? ये समझ में आता है ये दोनों, व्हाई दिस इज नीडेड? Value of assets? No. Remember, if the company has convertible securities outstanding, then the company cannot come up with the public issue. Remember? So this due diligence certificate would be there from the debenture trustee that these convertible debentures, right? And also with respect to the issue of convertible debt instruments, अगर आप यहाँ पे issue करोगे तो trustees को आपको appoint करना होगा, और आपने ट्रस्टी को अपॉइंट कर लिया एंड ट्रस्टी हैज आल्सो डन वेदर ऑल थिंग्स आर इन प्लेस और नॉट, तो ये सर्टिफिकेट आपका इसलिए रिक्वायरमेंट होता है. देन ऑफ कोर्स इफ इट्स अ इशू ऑफ शेयर्स, देन अगेन दिस विल नॉट बी रिक्वायर्ड बिकॉज वो आपका ड्यू डिलिजेंस सर्टिफिकेट जो मर्चेंट बैंकर इशू करेगा उसी के अंदर कवर हो जाएगा. देन द बोर्ड में स्पेसिफाई द चेंजेस और इशू द ऑब्जर्वेशंस ऑन एनी ड्राफ्ट ऑफ अ डॉक्यूमेंट within 30 days. Now within 30 days of this date you remember, just remember this date, the company is going to file the DRHP, and after the company has filed this DRHP, SEBI will take 30 days time, and 30 days from the date of the receipt of the draft of a document or the date of receipt of satisfactory reply from the lead manager. So sometimes SEBI seeks some clarification and all, so वहां से फिर वो 30 days का time, or date of receipt of clarification or information from any regulator or agency where the information was sought from that regulator or agency, or date of receipt of the copy of in principle approval letter by the stock exchange. इसमें से विच एवर इज लेटर, उसके 30 डेज के अंदर अंदर आपका ड्राफ्ट ऑफ अ डॉक्यूमेंट को बेसिकली कंफर्म कर दिया जाएगा. ऑल दोज चेंजेस एंड ऑल विल बी specified by the SEBI within the 30 days from these dates. Thereafter, the board specifies any changes or issues observation in the draft of a document. It is the duty of the company and the lead manager. Now do you see? Both of them you will find together, issuer and the lead manager. They'll have to carry out all such changes in the draft of a document and they will submit it to the SEBI. See, after the draft of a document which has been filed to the SEBI, SEBI is going to make changes. Then again you will file the red herring prospectus also, right? The final offer document also you are going to file it to the SEBI, and this will be updated in the draft format complying with all the observation. Basically this one will have all the observations which are made by the SEBI, that let's say a particular person was not made promoter in the DRHP, SEBI would say no, make this person as a promoter. So you'll have to make that person as the promoter, or SEBI will first ask why this person is not made as the promoter, however this person should be made promoter. Then you will come up with your justification that yes, this person should be made promoter, or this person, why you have not made this person as the promoter. You'll give all those justifications to the SEBI, and thereafter SEBI will come up with a call that yes, within those 30 days time period, that yes, this person should be defined or classified as the promoter or not. So let's say SEBI has said that no, classify this particular person as the promoter, then you will classify that person as the promoter in the red herring prospectus. So the best way to understand what SEBI does or what observation SEBI has, it's a very lengthy process. I have done a couple of times and I've done it for 3-4 companies, but a best way is read the DRHP, right, and then compare that DRHP with the red herring prospectus, that in DRHP this was the content and these all things were there, and in the, because SEBI's comments would not be issued to the public, SEBI's comments will be issued to the company only and to the merchant banker. आपके पास पब्लिक डोमेन में दो डॉक्यूमेंट रहेगा, एक ड्राफ्ट रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस, एक रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस. सो ड्राफ्ट रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस और रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस में अगर कोई चेंजेस आया है, so that changes have come only because SEBI has asked them to do so. So DRHP को पढ़ के फिर आप RHP को पढ़ो, it will be a good read for you. Maybe you can do that for Zomato. You can also do that for, let's say when the Paytm comes up with a public issue. क्योंकि ये दोनों के अंदर सेबी ने बहुत सारे चेंजेस आपको बताए होंगे. सो यू कैन go ahead and read these two documents, and then you have to highlight all the changes that have been made in the draft of a document before you file that to the ROC. Now why you have to highlight this when you file it to the SEBI? So that SEBI को आप authenticate कर दो, देखो आपने जो जो changes बताए थे उसको हमने यहाँ पे डाल दिया. The copy of the offer document will also be filed to the SEBI and to the stock exchanges. See, ये वाला filing और ये वाला filing अलग है. ये दोनों फाइलिंग्स अलग है. यहाँ पे आप बता रहे हो कि देखो हमने इसको इनकॉर्पोरेट कर दिया और यहाँ पे आप फाइनली इसको फाइल कर रहे हो. सो कॉपी ऑफ द ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट शैल ऑल्सो बी फाइल्ड विद द बोर्ड. Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. So these two filings are different. यहाँ पे जो आप फाइलिंग कर रहे हो आप सभी को बता रहे हो कि हमने DRHP के अंदर आपने जो जो ऑब्जर्वेशंस बताया था उसको हमने इंक्लूड कर लिया है, और यहाँ पर आपका वो फाइनल जो रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस है उसका आप फाइल कर रहे हैं. देन यू फाइल इट विद द SEBI and also to the stock exchanges. Thereafter, the draft of a document will also be furnished to the board in the soft copy. So hard copy, soft copy, both will be given. Anyway, once you file the DRHP to the SEBI, DRHP makes it public and it is being made public for 21 days. ये आपको याद रखना है. This is the date you need to remember, that when you file the DRHP to the SEBI, SEBI will host that DRHP on its website, and then it will also be hosted on the website of the stock exchanges, on the company, issuer company, and also द लिस्टेड द लीड मैनेजर. इनके वेबसाइट पे भी ये क्या हो जाएगा, होस्ट. 21 डेज तक ये वहां पर होस्टेड रहेगा, एंड दिस इज फॉर द पब्लिक कमेंट्स. सो एनीवन हु हैज any observation or something, they can give their observations to the SEBI. So the issuer shall within 2 days of the filing of the draft of a document make a public announcement in one English newspaper, one Hindi newspaper, okay, and one in the regional language where the registered office is situated, disclosing the fact that the draft of a document has been filed to the SEBI, and the objective is to invite the public to provide their comments to the board. आप एक तरीके से देखो बड़े स्मार्टली सेबी ने अपना काम पब्लिक के ऊपर डाल दिया. अपना काम इन द सेंस, इफ देर इज एनी पर्सन who reads the DRHP, and if they have any problem or if they feel that their particular information is not correct, they can file that to the SEBI, and SEBI can then ask those questions to the issuer company. So inviting the public to provide their comments to the board and the issuer or to the lead manager with respect to the disclosures which are made in the draft offer document. So if you play the role of a devil's advocate, so here is the place where when the company comes up with a public issue or your rival company has come up with a public issue, then you can play a card here that ये गड़बड़ है, यहाँ पे ये information बराबर नहीं है. So and you also have to see, जब आपका कंपनी पब्लिक इशू लेके आ रहा है, so यहाँ पे कोई ना कोई आपके साथ टाइम पास करेगा, that the person would फिराबिलिस कुछ ना कुछ objections लाएगा. So you have to be ready with all those justifications. Then the lead manager, after the expiry of that period, the 21 days time period, file with the SEBI the details of the comments which are received by them, and the also with the issuer company on the draft offer document during that period, and what all changes which are to be made in the draft offer document. The issuer and the lead manager will also ensure that the offer document are also hosted on their website. Now this is not the draft offer document, this is the final offer document. This will also be hosted on their website, which is filed to the ROC, to the board, and to the stock exchanges. The lead manager and the stock exchanges will provide the copy of the offer document. This is absolutely fine. वो payment कर दो आप and you can get the copy of the offer document also. राइट। अब देखो ये प्राइसिंग वाले पार्ट को स्टार्ट करने से पहले आई वांट टू गिव यू दैट लॉन्ग लिस्ट जो मैं आपको बता रहा था। हाउ डज द पब्लिक इशू और हाउ डज दिस वर्क? जस्ट गिव मी 1 minute, I'll add one more blank slide here. And so what is going to be the issue process? First and foremost, company is going to pass the board resolution that yes, we want to go public. This is the first thing. Once the board resolution is passed, the first intermediary who will be appointed is the merchant banker. You'll appoint the merchant banker. Once the merchant banker is appointed, thereafter, the other intermediaries will be appointed. Right? Then the merchant banker will do the due diligence. He will do the due diligence on various matter and he is going to prepare the due diligence report. Next, the drafting and the preparation of the draft red herring prospectus. This draft red herring prospectus would be then filed to the SEBI. You're going to file to the SEBI the draft red herring prospectus, and this will also be filed to the stock exchanges. आप ये stock exchanges को भी file कर दोगे draft red herring prospectus को. After that, you will apply for stock exchanges को जा रहा है, so you will apply to the stock exchanges for in principle approval. That this is basically your listing permission from the stock exchange, that you want to get your securities listed. In the next step, basically you will receive the in principle approval. From the stock exchange. आपको ये in principle approval मिल जाएगा stock exchange से. After that, you will also receive the comments from SEBI. You're going to receive the comments from the SEBI on your draft red herring prospectus. Thereafter, you are going to make changes in the DRHP and then you are going to file the red herring prospectus to the SEBI. Once you have filed the red herring prospectus to the SEBI, you'll receive a go ahead. Where SEBI would say, now you can go ahead with the public issue. So once you receive the go ahead from SEBI, then you file the red herring prospectus to the ROC, and then the road shows and the marketing activity starts. And then your issue opens, your issue closes. So this chart we are going to extend in the coming lecture, but ये आपका ओवरऑल पूरा प्रोसेस रहता है. Could you connect ये जो पॉइंट्स मैंने अभी तक लिखा, जो अभी 2 चैप्टर्स हमने पढ़ा है, could you correlate?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So today, sorry, today I'll just end the lecture here, and tomorrow we'll start from here, the pricing part. Okay.